Welcome, everyone. Please take a seat. If you want to move forward closer, that's fine as well. Welcome. I'm really excited about this session, especially as I think it's a great segue from Oji's keynote this morning, talking about how the landscape of product management is changing and how teams are now expected to build products. So in today's session, I'll be talking about how to transform your end-to-end product lifecycle with AI. Everywhere you look, AI demos are probably flooding your feed. You bookmark them, promise you'll watch later, but the list keeps growing. Instead of clarity, you might end up feeling behind. The anxiety is real, and the pace is overwhelming. Last month, I had the chance to host a product meetup in the Bay Area. We asked product managers what they are most anxious about when it comes to AI. It turns out PMs are more anxious about how to solve problems using AI in their products than actually losing their jobs to AI. After spending the last month learning from some of the best world-class AI-forward leaders in product, I want to share how PMs can turn that anxiety into agency and grow as a result. I'm Axel Sooriah. I'm a product management evangelist at Atlassian. And in this session, I'm going to show you 3 ways you can make AI impactful in your work while learning new skills as product builders. First, we're going to look at how to use context to improve the quality of outputs you get across a variety of tasks. And for that, we're going to be using context libraries. A context library is a curated set of product knowledge, and it ensures that AI delivers relevant, high quality, and consistent outputs. Let's dive into it. In this workflow, we're going to look at how we can build context libraries easily using Claude from Anthropic, an MCP server, and Confluence. I'll be using a fictitious example of a product management team building a fintech mobile app. In this workflow, we're using Claude from Anthropic to create context libraries to help us better inform the downstream activities we want to use AI for. I've asked Claude to create context libraries for a fintech with documents focused on how the company operates, like the core strategy beliefs, what sets us apart from the rest of the market, the strategic inputs we use to develop our strategy, and the anti-patterns we want to avoid as a company. It'll go ahead and create documents for each of these. I'll then ask Claude to create a Confluence document for each of these using the Atlassian tools that are available in Claude and powered by our remote MCP server. Once the documents are created, they will be directly available in my Confluence space, and I'll be able to use them to direct how AI tools can evaluate and produce artifacts in my product management workflows. So far, so good. This was an easy one, and context libraries can be particularly helpful when you want outputs from your AI tools to be of a high quality. But now that we've built them, we're going to look at how we can apply context libraries to automate tasks like desk research. So this morning, Oji talked about how to automate customer listening. This is a really good example of how you can automate desk research, for example, to inform your product marketing team or your product team based on what's happening in your industry at the moment for your specific field. In this workflow, we're going to look at how we can help this product marketing team with their competitive watch by providing market research on a weekly basis using AI automations. For this, we'll be using n8n, Google Drive, Perplexity, and Slack. This is n8n, an AI workflow automation tool. This is going to help me to trigger the workflow, go and grab information, which is context for the desk research, use that context to run research through Perplexity, which is an AI search tool, and then feed that research to an AI agent who's going to help me craft a weekly digest and then send that to my team's Slack channel so that everybody, typically on a Monday, receives a market research digest of everything that has happened in their space. In this workflow, there are multiple nodes. And this first node here is basically a Google Doc node. And this is a tool that allows me to fetch a document from my Google Doc account. So here I'm going to fetch this, which is basically our research framework. And it's going to help me add context to this prompt here that I'm running through Perplexity. So to build this prompt, I've used Anthropic Console, which has a really neat prompt generator. So you can use basic English language here. This is plain English. And by hitting generate, it will create the best possible prompt for you to run the task that you click. Once you're happy with this, you can just copy that prompt and bring it in here in the Perplexity tool. So I'm saying you're tasked with conducting deep research for developments in the fintech space that occurred during the past week. I'm providing it with the context from the previous node that was running, which is this Google document with my context library for research. And I'm basically telling it what I want in this piece of research and how I want it to be structured. And this is the result. And I can use the output from the Perplexity search and add it as an input to this AI agent. So here what I'm doing is I'm saying you'll be given the output from a Perplexity deep research, which is using the Sonar model. This is what the Perplexity output is, which is this JSON here I'm collecting from the previous node running. Here are the citations, which are all the pieces of evidence or URLs that have been quoted in the research. And I'm going to give it instructions on how to craft that digest in a way that is more digestible and friendly, user-friendly to the team who's going to consume this. So here's what the result looks like. And then when this node is done, what it's going to do is it's going to send a Slack message with the output to a specific market news Slack channel in my Slack workspace. And this is what the Slack message looks like. What I'm receiving is the weekly FinTech Market Digest, September 2nd to 8th, 2025. And this is what happened in the market. So we can learn about the Klarna IPO with their valuation, what is happening on the AI technology and developments, what are the emerging products and trends, et cetera, with all of the relevant sources quoted below. Now, building a context library and using it in our first automated workflow has already taught us to use a workflow automation tool. It taught us how to interact with models like generative answer engine. And it also taught me personally that there's such a thing as Slack markup. So if you don't know what Slack markup is and you want to use AI agents with Slack, I strongly recommend you have a look at Slack markup. Now we're going to look at how we can use these libraries to evaluate our work. So this morning, RG talked about evals. The second way you can make AI impactful in your day-to-day is to use it as a coach or a sparring partner to evaluate your work. Evaluating artifacts with context libraries means letting AI review documents like PRDs against your team's context, and this helps PMs raise the quality of their output faster. Last week, Lenny Rachitsky shared how evals are the first new hard skill that PMs, engineers, and founders have to learn to be successful. In this workflow, we'll be looking at how we can create a custom AI agent to review our PRDs using evals. We'll be using our context libraries from Confluence, and we'll be doing this from within Jira Product Discovery, Atlassian's purpose-built prioritization and road mapping app for product teams. Let's jump into it. This is Jira Product Discovery, Atlassian's purpose-built prioritization and road mapping app.
In here, I can see I have a list of ideas. These ideas could be opportunities, solutions, or even experiments, typically things you'd see in an opportunity solution tree, for example. And I can use the information that I have here in the custom fields to slice and dice this information in different ways. For example, here I have different views that I can use to visualize how solutions relate to opportunities. And if I go one level deeper, I can also see how experiments ladder up to solutions. One of the things we want to do as product leaders is to be able to coach product managers in the organization on what it takes to write a good PRD, for example, or a good one-pager. One way we can do this at scale and accelerate our workflows is by using AI. This is Atlassian Studio, basically an agent builder, allowing you to build your own custom agents that you can invoke from different apps in the Atlassian platform. Here, I'm creating a one-pager or PRD reviewer. I'm providing it with instructions and saying, you're an expert product manager and strategist. I want you to evaluate based on the criteria that I'm showing here. So I've created an evaluation rubric here with different dimensions like customer alignment, clarity, feasibility, outcome orientation, strategic fit, etc., with some instructions on how to evaluate each criteria. I can also provide some conversation starters for the agent to use, and this agent has access to all organizational knowledge across Jira and Confluence. Now, let's see how I can automate the review of a product requirement document as I move a work item from one status to another. Let's say I'm looking at solutions. And one thing that I want to do is when a particular solution moves from any status to solution discovery, I want to invoke that PRD coach agent and ask them to review the product requirements document within the ideas. So if I open the solution here, I can see this description of the solution itself has the PRD inside it. So let's look at how we can use automations to do that. Here is the automation rule builder. I'm basically saying when a work item is transitioned from any status into solution discovery, I want to call this rover agent, and I've selected the one-page PRD reviewer here, and this is the prompt I'm using. I'm saying evaluate this PRD, and I'm sharing the description from the work item that I'm transitioning to this new status. Once the review is done, I'm going to take the agent response and I'm going to add it to a comment on the work item so that whoever is working on that work item gets notified and they can see that they have a comment from the rover agent. Now let's see it in action. I'm going to move this automated solution roundup savings with goal tracking from the parking lot here into solution discovery. What is going to happen here is if I go in the audit log, I can see that something is in process here. So the PRD coach is running. I'm going to go back here. I'm going to go in the comments section. I can see this comment has just been produced. So here I can see that there's a review that's been done by the PRD coach. It's telling me these are the criterion reviews. I've got a little color-coded status here with a score table and a verdict for where I could potentially improve this PRD. So that's great. Now, this is a little bit lightweight. And what I want to do now is use our context libraries to improve the level of feedback that I can get from this agent. To do this, I'm going to go back here. And in the instructions, I'm going to ask it to use the context libraries. I'm going to paste this here. So I've included the links to the context libraries that we've created before. I'm going to save it here. And I'm going to go back to this idea. I'm going to trigger this automation again. I'm going to head back into the comments here. I should have another response from the agent shortly. So we can already see how this evaluation is a little bit more precise. It's giving me concrete examples of how I could improve this PRD. And from there, I could go on and create a better product requirements document.
Now, in evaluating our PRD, we learned how to use automation rules, how to define evaluation rubrics, which is, again, a skill that most PMs are going to need to be successful, and how to build a custom AI agent. Now, let's see how we can take this even further in the next section. The third way you can make AI impactful in your workflows is by transforming how you collaborate in exploring solutions. Generating artifacts with context libraries means using AI to create prototypes, for example. It produces higher quality outputs that accelerates discovery and reduces rework. Automated AI prototyping is an example where we're going to bring context libraries to use to help us have a conversation around a visual artifact when a team explores a solution to a problem. In this workflow, we'll be using N8N to automate workflows, Confluence for our context libraries, and Jira Product Discovery for our PM workflows, and will automatically generate wireframes or prototypes using magic patterns. Let's dive in.
Now, for our third use case, what we're going to do is take a PRD and use that to create an AI-generated prototype with the help of our context libraries based on whether the solution in our case changes exploration stage from a wonder to explore. Wonder, explore, make, impact is the 4 stages of an idea framework we use at Atlassian. And as an opportunity evolves in that lifecycle, we're going to automate the AI prototyping as a starting point for product managers, designers, and engineers to have a conversation around a visual artifact. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to use a workflow in N8N. So we're going to be listening to a change of state happens in a Jira Product Discovery project for one of the solutions. We're going to verify that the work item, that idea has changed to the right status. And then based on that status, we're going to call an AI prototyping tool, which is Magic Patterns in our case. So Magic Patterns is this AI prototyping platform that's purpose-built for product teams. And once that's created, we're going to take the link to that prototype and put it back into that solution so that everybody in the organization can take a look at the prototype once it's generated. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hit execute workflow here. So I'm going to jump back into Jira Product Discovery. So I can see I have my automated roundup savings with goal tracking here. It's in solution discovery. And I've got the stage here. I'm going to change it from wonder to explore. Now, what I can see here in my automation workflow is that it's picked up on the trigger change. It's verified that the change was consistent here with moving to explore. It's now taking the PRD, which since, our PRD coach rover agent, I've now created this amazing PRD, very detailed, and which is based off of our context libraries. And you can see it taking this PRD and it's sending it to Magic Patterns here. So I've written this prompt in Magic Pattern. I'm saying, take the field, the description field in the Jira Product Discovery work item, analyze the PRD, determine the core components, sketch the layout, add the details, review and refine, etc. And it's taking that information and it's going to reach out to the Magic Patterns API and create a wireframe or prototype for that. I'm going to wait for this process, and I can see that is now successful and it's updated the work item in Jira Product Discovery. So if I come here, I can see the prototype field here has been updated with the link to the prototype. So I can click here and open the prototype. And there you have it. So as a reminder, this was an automated roundup savings with goal tracking. This is what a prototype looks like. I can interact with this prototype. I can see it has roundup settings here. I can change the values. I can move across in this prototype, can create a new goal. It's highly interactive. And what I really like about Magic Patterns is that the tool itself is not going and creating a database and a lot of backend code. It's only front end, and it's helping us just create the minimum we need to be able to have a fruitful conversation between the product manager, the product designer, and the engineer to be able to discuss the trade-offs around that particular solution.
In this last workflow, we've learned how to automate tasks as an idea evolves and how to interact with an AI prototyping tool via an API. So to recap, these are the 3 ways you can make AI impactful in your day-to-day: building context libraries and automating part of your discovery, evaluating your own work using custom agents as coaches and sparring partners, and generating artifacts that help you better collaborate across your team. You now potentially have at least 8 new skills in your pocket. If you want to learn more about these workflows, grab the slides and the demos. Please scan the QR code at the bottom right, and you'll be taken to these resources right after you've provided some very brief feedback on this talk. Please come find us at the Atlassian booth if you want to chat, and thank you very much.